very good morning. How are you doing? You can tell from the heated conversations that happened before that indeed election is 12 days now? But we're going to keep at it until it gets there. One of the most important things that happened during an election period, people are afraid about what's going to happen to their business. We, of course, are hoping that nothing happens this time, but still there is that fear. Spending for businesses, people who are in sales will tell you, right now people are not going to be spending money. You know, they're waiting for what to happen in the elections. But again, today we want to talk about the business of business. How do you start a business? What are the pitfalls? Are you cut out to be an entrepreneur, or are you just set to be your 85, just be the person who will get praise after 30 years of service and climb up the ranks if possible? And can you afford it, seeing what the economy is today? To help us, we have a gentleman here who I'll allow to introduce himself and what he does.
Good morning, Willis.
Morning.
So my name is Amadou Chico Sissoko. I'm a business coach, a leadership trainer, a serial entrepreneur, and passionate about enterprises and helping people grow.
Right. So let me ask you, Amadou, first of all, can anybody be an entrepreneur?
I think everyone can learn entrepreneurism, so the science of enterprising, and they can apply it in every field of their lives. So how to create new business models, how to make things more profitable, how to identify problems and turn them into opportunities. I think those things can be taught because I've been able to work with people who I met and they thought that they could never be, entrepreneurial,
right?
But they could learn the skills of entrepreneurship. What I've also found now is being an entrepreneur in terms of now leading an enterprise, setting a vision, taking risk, and bringing a lot of people along is not also set for everyone.
Right.
And that, I think, I want to do more research, maybe in the next 10 years with more experience to be able to now understand if it's also sometimes even more genetic. Just like, some people are predisposed to be very good swimmers. That's why they excel in swimming, right? Compared to others who are very well predisposed for marathon. That's why they succeed in marathons. I think there are some people who have like the genetics of an entrepreneur. Either because of the environment in which they were born, so maybe they had parents or grandparents who were entrepreneurs, who were traders, who were, those pioneers, risk takers, and so they inherently have that in them to always want to start new things, to lead their own thoughts and their own visions. And then others, it's just by nurture and by constraint. Your mom is sick, there's no one to take care of her, and you have to go and enterprise. You have to go and find a way to make money to survive, right? And then now you realize, okay, I can actually do this, and then now you end up like going more into it. And others, they've worked in a company for many years, they've acquired the knowledge and the skills, and then suddenly they realize, I can do this better than my boss. And then they move out, right?
Yeah.
And go and start a new enterprise in the same field.
Right.
Captured former customers that they were working with, but then realized, it wasn't as easy as I thought.
Right.
And if they get the proper coaching, they succeed. If they don't, they fail. Then they go back again into like the workplace, and they say, I tried and it didn't work. Well, you needed the knowledge. It's the knowledge that you lacked for making it work.
Right.
So you could get someone who is more risk-taking than you are to be in part of your team. If you're not necessarily the visionary or the risk taker. But I think anyone who is set out to be their own boss, you can learn the process, but then associate yourself with people who have complementary skills that you need.
Right. So associating yourself, there are even hospitals in this country that run the directors or the proprietors, people who started it out are lecturers, not necessarily doctors, but they're running hospitals. So when you talk about knowledge, is the knowledge also knowing the right people for the job? Is that a skill?
Exactly. So that now comes to leadership.
Okay.
Right? And I always believe that great leadership in a poor industry or in a poor business can turn the business around. Right? But poor leadership in a good business can bring the business down. Right? So someone I advocate for buying businesses, for example.
Okay.
That one of the best ways to build wealth is to go on the classifieds and look for businesses for sale. and then you study that industry, not to be an expert, but to understand the dynamics of the economy of that industry. So, for example, healthcare. Hospitals only make money when people come in. If people don't go to the hospital does not make money.
Right.
But then there are so many other costs involved in running the hospital that make that a lot of hospitals don't make money because they may be run just by a doctor who only knows how to do the medical side.
Right.
So the business entrepreneur who looks at this business looks at where is the money coming from? It's from the patients. Now, how do you get more patients in the door? How do you get them when they're in to, go through all these different services? That's why when you come, they say, okay, go to the lab, then go to the pharmacy. All those are different services of this same business. And then you look at it from the perspective of all these costs and all this revenue, how much can I make as profit, right? Is this something that I can make a particular, amount of profit on? And if you can be able to reduce the cost of the operations, and you can be able to increase the marketing and get more people in, you can have a profitable business.
Right.
You don't necessarily need to be the biggest hospital in your region. You just need to be profitable enough for you and your investors to have dividends at the end of the year. So someone can come and build or buy small hospitals in every county and then have this big portfolio of hospitals that together make 1 billion Canadian shillings a month or 1 billion Canadian shillings a year. But what they did was they looked at each and every one of these businesses as individual businesses that I needed to make profitable. So when someone is investing in an industry that they are not very knowledgeable in, they have to understand what are the needs of making this business successful. And it starts with the people, right? Are the people in the business that can, if the people in the business are responsible for it to fail, then you need to change them.
Right.
So you need to find out, is the manager a good manager? The one who's managing the finances, are they good in managing the finances? Is the doctor a good doctor? What's their track record? And so you change those people, and then you change the system or the culture in order to get to profitability.
Right.
And once you can see profitability, you can run any business. Right? So I personally believe that I enjoy building, but by experience, even just with the barbecue, for example, that was an experiment, right? Just saying, there's an opportunity in the food industry.
Right.
Let's build a small prototype business. And we did, and it worked, right? I've done the same in tech. I've done the same in education. Because I've seen that there's a science to building businesses that you just need to learn. If you learn how to get, to profitability, and then you figure out who are the people you need, and either you bring them in as partners or you have to raise capital to pay them salaries, and you keep the system working, you get profitability, you have a good business.
Right. So how do you start? There are those who are watching and they've always wanted to start a business. There are those who are in their 8-to-5s, and like you said, they realize, maybe I can do this, and they want to branch out, even if it's not necessarily the business. One of the things that COVID did was to kind of wake up people, like you kind of need sort of a backup side hustle. Right? So people who want to start off, what are some of how do you do it? How do you even know that, I have the business bug, I can do this?
Well, I think the biggest motivation for many people to start a business is money.
Okay. Making money? Or just extra money, or
money.
Okay.
Right? Making money, extra money, but money. And I think we've really demonized money because of maybe our Christian values, but it says the love of money is what is evil.
The love of it.
The love of it.
Not money itself.
Not money itself. And don't serve two masters. You can't serve God and mammon. So you can't serve God and serve money. But you cannot also fulfill your purpose without money. Right? Because money is the tool for you to achieve your purpose.
Right.
But money is not the purpose in and of itself.
Right.
So if you and I make a little bit more money today, immediately we're going to take our family on vacation, for example. So we're making the money for what? For the family. So the family and those memories is what is more important, right? So many people, when they go into enterprise, it's really to be able to improve their financial situation, right? So that also means that you're going in from a particular financial situation. Let's forget about the people who say, I started because of my passion. There are very few. Because at the end of the day, most people don't eat off of their passions, right? If you can be passionate about tennis, but you may not be a good tennis player. So how are you going to feed your children?
Passionate about football.
Exactly, right?
However, Rashid Abdallah will tell you I'm not a good defender.
Yeah, or you just go and you'll be like betting and thinking that, okay, that's how I'm going to pay off it's not going to work. So the real process is, I always say, follow the money that is in front of you. Because if, for example, let's say you are at home right now and you don't have any money at all, I'll tell you, go out into your neighborhood, right? Just go out and observe for 3-4 days. Where are people spending money, right? Your parents are buying skumas every single day, right? It's not a lot of money, but it's still money. They're buying these skumas every single day, right? For you to eat. They're buying, water every single day. So food is equal to money, right? Can you start selling food? And that's someone who has nothing. Like, you literally have nothing. People are selling clothes every day because clothes wear out, right? You can't wear the same thing for 5 years. At some point, it wears out. Can you go and negotiate for someone who has a shop and tell them, I can go sell this to a place where there's a lot of people who are buying? Those could be students, for example, right? They don't have a lot of money, but they're still willing to spend the money on things. So for someone who has nothing, just follow the money, where the money is. Copy paste. I always say that, copy paste, because that's what all entrepreneurs do. There's nothing new under the sun, right? We all just take a mix of different ideas and match them together. But if you do have some money, or if you do have a specialty, what is the problem that your specialty can solve? So let's say you're a media consultant. So you have to figure out, this is what I'm very good at, but who has this problem and is willing to pay money for that problem to be solved? You could just create a broadcast group using WhatsApp, and go on canva.com, free flyers.
Right.
You make your own profile. I'm a specialist in communication. I can help anyone brand themselves. You may be a small business owner, I can help you do that. You create a broadcast group, you put 250 of the people you know who are in that field. Send them your flyer and follow up. You're gonna get at least 1 or 2 clients. And they're gonna be your first portfolio. Or you can even do it for free for them and then use that to go get others. So you can use your skills to start, right? You could be a carpenter who needs a chair. Go from door to door knocking on people's houses and saying, just like you see those guys who go to sharpen the knife.
Yes.
That's a skill. Because everybody has a blunt knife in the house. So we look at them and we look down on them and say, oh, they're lazy. No, or they're poor. No, they're probably making more money than you are, who's sitting at home waiting for things to come. If it's online, there's a thing called Google Trends. You can go on Google Trends and look at how much is, right, in Kenya. And Google Trends will show you what many Kenyans are looking for in terms of what they want to buy. And then you can, if you have some money, you can go on Amazon or you can go on Alibaba and buy that product. Put it on your own Instagram page and sell it. So those are just the basics. But if you do have some capital saved up, then you can choose which industry do I want to go in or which industry is there money in. Commission someone to do some research. Pay a student who's in that field. Tell them, I want you to go, for example, you're in real estate and you want to make a new development in a neighborhood.
Right.
Pay a student in real estate in your area to go and study what is the rent for all these apartments in this area. What is the demand? It allows you to have an idea of what is the opportunity in that field. Then you go to your bank because you already have some capital or your SACCO and say, I'd like to invest in this project. This is my research. This is my plan. This is how much I think I'm going to make. Right? You could hire a consultant for small fees to be able to do that for you. Then you go and defend the business. You pay off a deposit and the financier now gives you the rest. You build your blocks. You can even start with 5 units, 15 units, 20 units. But the goal is to create cash flow. And then once you have that cash flow, you can use that cash flow to go and invest in another business.
Right.
And the bank will still finance you because you have cash flow coming in. So depending on which stage you are, I always say follow the money. Right? But if you say you want to create something that is new, that has never been done, that is, this big dream you have, then you need to have money. Because you need to invest money in that process before it makes you money.
Right.
Right? So I think entrepreneurs should be comfortable making money because you don't go into entrepreneurship for fun. It's not a fun sport.
That's right.
Yeah, like it's not like where you're partying you're not even partying most of the time. Most of the time you're stressed, your hair is growing white, some are going bald, some are even becoming impotent because of stress, right? So at the end of the day, the outcome is profit. So if you find a way to profit, pursue that.
And as you're looking for these ways, there are waves, right? Like you said, if you go, okay, that's a little bit more structured. If you go and look at the trends and see what people are buying,
Google Trends, yeah.
That's structured. But there are waves. Remember the quail wave?
Yes.
There are waves, everybody's like, for example, So it can be the
Like fidget spinners.
Yes, exactly. Fidget spinners for the babies. It can be, or just for concentration, it can be from quail, and it can be even importation of cars.
Yes.
So how do you not get
like Mazdas, right?
The wave, yeah. Why? How do you not? Because you're like, there are so many Mazdas, so let me get Mazdas. There are so many Audis, let me go get Audis. These days I see them a lot. So how do you not get swallowed up in a wave as an entrepreneur?
So we have to also understand that we all have different gifts, right? You are very gifted in the ability to make people laugh, right? And the thing is, you could use that for just stand-up comedy. You could use it for making a movie, right? Or you could just use it plain to entertain your family,
right?
There are some people who are very good at identifying those waves, right? I call them traders. Like they're the guys who, like, if it's tires, they're in the tires for that. Or when the masks, they went big in the masks, and then boom, they went into the sanitizers. I don't know what they're in right now, but immediately I think when COVID, they went back again.
Probably
right?
vaccines, I don't know.
So there are guys who are good at that, right? And they're mostly in the tenders, and in the trade, into the buying and selling. Some of us are not good at that. So if you're not good at that, don't follow the trend, right? If you're like me, who is a creator of trends, then you better just work on a few projects, but very big, right? If you're a follower of trends, you work on multiple projects, but very quick, very fast. If you're someone who has a very high concentration span, and you like working in a structured environment, go work for a corporation or go work for a space where that structure is already there. Those people who, when you go into their room, everything is well located.
Right.
They're a particular type of people.
Right.
People like us who things are all over the place, we're a particular type of people. People who wake up very early in the morning, particular type of people who like to work late at night, particular type of people. So if you're not the guy for the trends, if you're not able to see the trends coming and capture them, and then exit them before, like I have a friend in Meru. He's one of the biggest Toyota distributors in the Mount Kenya region, right? Very brilliant guy. Never went to university, nothing, but more learned than most university scholars. He's a guy of trends. He was a guy of trends. He built his own business on trends in the transport industry. When the Pro Boxes were coming in, he saw it very quickly and went and negotiated Pro Boxes, then went and started selling them to people and got a lot of people in that region to start using Pro Boxes for transportation. Then they would pay him back because he had a garage and they would come there to get it fixed. Then he saw...
I did a story on the guy.
Yeah.
During transportation of Miraa and how they modified some of the...
Yeah, so he then went into Matatu business. When he saw that the Matatu industry was growing, captured that space as well. Helped. Most of the Matatus in the region were, got their Matatus through him. Then the car tracking thing came. Boom. So now he's at a place where he doesn't need to follow the trends.
Because he's made a lot of money.
Because he's already established.
And established.
Yeah, because now it's about maintaining what he has. Because you have to understand, there's the hard journey of getting wealth, and then there's the harder journey of maintaining it. Becoming wealthy is one part. Maintaining it is a second part. Having a succession that will grow it is a third part, right? So if you're hustling to get to a place where you figured something out that works for you, then yes, doing many things is okay. But once you've figured something that is working, you need to now narrow your focus on that one thing, right? So I really think those who are, it's their brilliance, Me never worked, right? Government tenders never worked for me. Those fast, one-time hits never worked for me. Like every time I've tried, it never worked. So I don't do it, And I've learned from some mentors that cash flow is more important than your mama, right? Yeah, so build cash flow businesses.
Right.
I advise everyone to have at least one cash cow, right? One business that produces for you cash, either on an hourly, daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis. Figure out just one. And then that cash flow, you increase it, and then leverage that, go to the bank and invest in another one. Right? Because that's the only wealth you can have. Because without cash flow, there's nothing much you can do. I'd rather have more cash flow businesses than just money sitting in the bank.
So when you talk about some of those waves, is there a difference between that wave and then how do you then recognize a business opportunity? like you said, if I go out and see people are buying food every day, sukuma wiki, right? That looks like a business opportunity to me. But again, I find in the same business, they're already mama mbogas.
Yes.
They're already out there, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 in their stalls.
Definitely.
So 2 questions. How do I recognize a good business opportunity? And then, especially because it may not be new. I'm entering into a market that has other people. How do I then stand out?
Okay, good. So I think my philosophy is there's 2 ways of business identification.
Okay.
One is the opportunistic, which is what I shared, is go out and look at where is there demand and where is there supply.
Okay.
Right? Where is there more demand than supply? And that can be like, Google Trends. They can be you're just reading articles and you hear, oh, the government is going to do this. There's a new policy. You can, capture very quickly just by observing how the flow of money is going, right? Where is there a high demand? Like right now, the government decided to reduce the cost of unga. Someone came and told me, then everybody should reduce, even those who are not selling in the store. I told them, no, that's a political move, right? Most people who have money in Kenya are going to go and buy those things in bulk and keep with them, and then the price is going to go up again. So that's an opportunity for someone who has that type of, greed or maybe, and I don't know, I wouldn't do it, but someone else can do it. Say, let me go buy and fill up my store. Let me go buy maize and fill up my store because food prices are going up, right? So those are the opportunistic way. And then there's the empathetic way. The empathetic way is, let me observe a particular space that I understand and then see what are the problems there that people are willing to pay for. You see, there it's about observation and empathizing with customers, asking questions about what are people struggling. So, for example, there's a venture that we're starting soon for entrepreneurs, because a lot of entrepreneurs lack mentorship. They're all struggling to find a mentor. And they're struggling to find a mentor. Why? Most of the time, it's themselves, lack of self-esteem, to actually go out and talk to the wealthiest cousin that they know, the wealthiest uncle that they know, or the wealthiest guy in their community and say, how did you become wealthy? Can you teach me?
Right.
Right? But others, it's not just that they need. They need training and coaching and all that. So we did what? We went and asked these people, what are the challenges that you're facing? What is the knowledge that you need? And overwhelmingly, financial literacy, business management, leadership comes out. Then you go and build a business and then you ask them, how much would you be willing to pay if this solution came to you, and in which form, right? So now you're co-creating with a customer.
Right.
So you identify a problem and you see, okay, they're spending money on this, but they're not getting value. What do they really need? And then you go out and build that for them. And then you find 10,000 like them. Right? Because once you have 10,000 like them, or even 1,000 like them, you have a business, right? So the opportunistic is go and look at supply and demand. You could just go to the market. Like yesterday, I was at Chicken Inn in town, and I was surprised. In front of me was a woman. All the 7 people behind me were women, right? And just observation, I could see all of them were overweight. Yes, it makes sense. You're overweight because you're buying chicken in as dinner every night, right? Then I was like, okay, if I had time, I would just come there and sit the whole day and just observe. Just look at how many customers go through that chicken every single day. And then when they leave, I give them a flyer for maybe a weight loss product. Why? Because their habit is going to cause a problem which they would be willing and able to pay to solve. You get what I'm saying? Or what other services can I offer them? Because I'm just seeing this is an observation just by looking at them, right? Now imagine I go and spend a little bit of time questioning them. Hi, how are you? Why are you buying dinner here? Don't you have time to cook at home? Oh, cooking at home is hard. And what about healthy foods? Or what do you think of that? Yeah, but it's too expensive. Oh, what would you prefer? I would prefer this. If I had this, I wouldn't do this, right? Or if I had this, I would do more of this. So if I was Chicken Inn, I would put someone at the door there, figuring out all these female customers, if they're single or if they're married. Are they buying for themselves or are they buying for their family or for their couple, right? What is their economic status? Then you have another business opportunity to sell them. That's the empathetic way. So you go out, you find supply, demand, or you go and ask questions and find the problem.
And the second question is, how do you then be in the market. If you go, for example, on Kiambu Road,
Yes.
there is a stretch where they're just car yards.
Yes.
So you're in a business, and on the left and on the right, and it's not even like in the next 100 meters and the next, like you're literally sharing a fence.
Definitely.
With a competitor.
Yeah.
So then how do you, after you've started, because there's someone in that situation, how do you then stand out from the rest of your competitors? And I know there are a particular, tribe or community that they're very famous for coming to open a shop next to you, and then they give ridiculous low prices. Yeah. So I don't know if that's one of those, but how do you stay relevant? There's such a thing like that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think competition is good. I've learned to be okay, because I'm a competitor myself. Like I like sports. I don't like to play to lose. Right?
Yes.
I want to always play to win.
Don't support Arsenal.
Well, I never go into anything to lose, right? So competition is good.
Yes.
And in business, the easiest way to start a business is to copy and paste, right? I've come to terms with that, because I've seen a lot of SMEs where the people don't necessarily have, the time to say, okay, let me do a lot of research. They need to eat. Like, you need to survive. So you uproot your mother's bananas, you go and sell. Most entrepreneurs, that's what we've all done. We've taken something at home, gone and sold, right? And when you go to sell, you find other people who are selling, but then you have to convince the other guy that yours is better.
Yes.
So I think there are different levels of being different. One is yourself. What makes you different? And then how do you bring that into what you're selling, right? So if I go, for example, I'm selling like tomato sauce. I'm not selling tomato sauce. I'm selling the love sauce, right? I'm selling a sauce that when you eat, not only will it make you fall in love with people you eat it with, but you yourself, you become a better person. So I've added my personality to the product.
Right.
So you have to learn how to sell. Everyone needs to know how to sell. Because how to sell means that you're tapping into the other person's unmet needs, which sometimes is recognition, which sometimes is just that, oh, this person understands me better than the other people who are selling to me, right? Because how do you sell, how come we're all selling the same cars from the same year, the same color, but someone sells more cars than you do?
Right.
Right? It means he's not just selling the car. He's selling the experience of the person in the car. He's giving them the view of what they'll be once they have that car, the new job that they'll get, the new type of girls who follow them, or the new type of guys who follow them, the new, like everything that comes with the whole experience. So one, it's you being a better salesperson. The second thing is your product. You have to have a good product. Because if you sell a bad product once, the customer is going to have a poor experience and there will be no bond.
Right.
And whenever there's no bond, I am not going to buy from you again. I have buyer's remorse. So your product needs to be good. It needs to be good enough for you yourself to give to your mother, to have your father use it, to have your children use it. If you're selling something that you yourself are not willing to eat, if you can't eat your own dog food that you're selling, then most likely...
Well, not you, but your dog.
Yeah, your dog. Even you. Sometimes you have to taste the dog food yourself. So if you're not willing to at least have a good product, your competitors are going to defeat you. Third, understand the market dynamics, that if people are cash crunched like they are right now, and we're going into a recession, there may be a World War III coming up, and all these things are going to affect people's pockets and their willingness to spend, right? Because now they have to manage the little that they have. If you're not conscious of that, and who is the customer that you're selling to, so you're selling a Rolex, but you're going to Kawangware to sell it, then most likely you're not going to get your customer there, right? But you're selling a cheap product, and then you go to Spring Valley, then you're also not going to get a customer, right? Because their expectations are higher. So yourself, your product, your customer, and the market, right? You have to differentiate yourself in all of those aspects. Because always when you're successful, there's someone watching you and saying, I want to be like him, or I want to be like her. And the easiest way for them to be like you is to copy you. Right? Yeah. Why in school we always did this? Why didn't we invent new answers?
Yeah.
Because the new answer is not going to give you and then you don't just do this for everybody. The last person in the classroom, you're not going to do this for them.
Yeah, you're looking for the
best, because you know whatever they're written, most likely it's the truth, right? So as your business becomes successful, people are going to come and want to copy you. And don't underestimate them. Don't overestimate yourself in business. I think that's the biggest stupidity that we have as entrepreneurs, is we overestimate our abilities and we underestimate our competitors. Or we underestimate our abilities and we overestimate our competitors. And if you do both of those, you will fail.
Right.
So differentiate yourself that you are not just a salesperson. If you're selling Mamamboga products, dress up well. Be clean. Have the cleanest stand. They're going to buy from you. Why? Because they're going to think your products are cleaner than the others who are just there, randomly selling. So I think entrepreneurs should always try to differentiate themselves, their product, their strategy. Always try to do something different to improve.
Right. And you've had the opportunity to start businesses and be in countries where, have at least knowledge about starting business in other countries. So for a Kenyan who's watching, what is the ease of starting a business, have you found, in Kenya? Is it easy to set up? Does it take time? What are the pitfalls that somebody can expect? What do they need? Yeah.
So I've been here in and out of Kenya for the past 7 years or so. And one of the things that I'm really grateful to have been able to learn is the Kenyan entrepreneurial spirit, which is not everywhere. Right? There are countries, if Kenyans go there, they'll just be bored. They're like, let me just go home. This place is too easy, Because here, competition starts from school, right? From elementary school, it's put in your head, defeat the other student.
Right.
Then you leave, you go to high school, defeat the other school. Then you go to university, defeat the other candidates. Then you go to the workplace, it's the same, you're competing all the time, right? So one thing is, in all fields in Kenya, try to be the best you can be. Make that your number one priority. Stop focusing on the competition, because everyone's focusing on the competition. And that's what's distracting a lot of people. So I hear, Willis just launched a new show. Let me go launch one too. But you don't know, maybe he did 2 years of research before launching that.
Yeah.
Right? You just saw it and you run and do it. It doesn't work like that. Focus on yourself. That's one. Secondly, the country has a lot of riches. You have a very diversified economy. Like in my country, Guinea, our economy is 100% focused on mining. So, and mining is controlled by the government and these large corporations. So, not everybody can enter into that space, right? So you can't find many millionaires or many rich people outside of trade, buying and selling. Manufacturing, there's not many people. But here you have manufacturing. You have a lot of Kenyans across the counties who own manufacturing units that are very successful and very profitable. 20-year businesses that their children are benefiting from. You have agriculture. Agriculture from production, from research to production, to seedlings, to agro inputs, to distribution, to processing, to shops, to supermarkets. So there's so many different opportunities in one industry. You have IT. You have people here who are working here and doing exams for people in the US.
Yeah.
Right? And actually passing them. Yeah?
Yeah.
And they've even built businesses where they're employing other people to do that for them because of the good internet, right? You have, what's it called? Energy, right? You have people who have their own gas cylinders that they're selling to buildings. You have laundromats. You have services. The service industry is also so wide. So it means in Kenya, you can succeed in any business if you stay focused. The biggest problem we have in Kenya is we lack focus. Why? Because we've been raised to always look at the other person. Oh, where were you? What were you doing when you were 18? Because you saw an 18-year-old who built. That's not common. Okay, it's like a 95-year-old running a marathon, and then you look at your grandmother and say, what have you been doing your whole life? Look at your. But they're not the same. The two cannot be compared. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would advise all Kenyans, be the best you can in that field that you're in. Right? Like challenge yourself every year to grow by 1 percentile of excellence, right? And secondly, focus on not more than 3 things. And then figure out of those things, which one did God give me as my rod, right? Where I'm seeing more and more results. And then push further into that space. Because as long as you're trying to be, average in all these things, you cannot be excellent in one. And this country rewards excellence, right? This country rewards even excellence in the bad, right? No, if you excel in the wrong thing, you will be rewarded. If you excel in the good thing, you will be rewarded, right? And we
need to work on the other one.
Yeah, no, it's just the culture, right? Because we're a very polarized society as well, right? So, and we have a lot of freedoms. Yeah, you have one of the best constitutions that gives people the right to express themselves. And so some have taken it to the extreme, and they have followers there, and they're making money there, right? And then others are, no, I want to be on this side. And I see often, even in the media, you have these polarized figures who come together, and both of them have an audience, right? So it means that this is a country where the opportunities are endless. And I urge more people in Kenya to take advantage of the opportunity that they have, because not every country has what you have. Not every country has foreigners. Like right now, this season, there's foreigners flocking into the country, right? Some countries don't even receive like 1% of the foreigners who come in Kenya because of the terrorism or lack of infrastructure or poor branding of the country. And for those who are, anxious about the elections as well, because we are in a political season, is no candidate will come to make the country worse than it was. Every candidate who comes wants to prove themselves. Both of them want to prove themselves, right? I don't see corruption disappearing, because it's like, it's in the blood of all of us, it's in the air, right? So when we purify the air, we'll purify it. But what I do see is the economy is going to improve. Why? Because they have to do it. There's no other choice. So I want to be amongst the people who have faith in things getting better, and so working towards that, than the people who are complaining that because things are so tough, things are just going to get worse, right? So take the opportunities as much as you can, but focus and be the best you can be. And the country will reward you.
And then talk about, you mentioned something there, and you talked about it a lot, the internet has come through, especially during, of course, COVID and everything. People really were looking for ways to make money online.
Definitely.
And again, like you said, good and bad. Those who made money the right way, those who, I think there's even an increase in scammers.
Oh, so many.
So how do you take advantage of the online space? You mentioned something like Google Trends.
Yeah.
Well. But how do you, there are people who want to do their business online. They want to be on their phone, which is a goal of yours as well, to operate everything.
Everything.
I want to be here and just be,
all your business managed
money
from your phone.
Right, yes. So how do you take advantage of the internet, beg your pardon, to make money?
I think if you look at the internet as a tool, you realize that what the pandemic did is it allowed more people to integrate it into their daily lives, right? So when they said that we're going into a cashless society, it means that if you didn't have the M-Pesa app before,
you got it.
You got it now, right? And then all these businesses, because of their users now using the internet more often, also had to have the internet. So more businesses started installing Wi-Fi in their premises. And so more of their employees were now connected to the internet, and more of their clients and customers are connected to the internet. So it's easier today to even find more free Wi-Fi than it was before.
Right.
Because every business now in town centers, in urban centers, has Wi-Fi for their own operations. Because now you have less people who want to come to your shop. You have more people who just want to call and buy your service. So it means that if you have the opportunity to sell online, you have to see that as a way for you to generate more profits. Because you're still running maybe the same brick and mortar business with the same operations, rent, water, salaries. But now you can get customers that don't necessarily walk into your business, but pay you for the same service or for the same product. So if it means that you're selling a product, where are the platforms where these customers are going to look for your product? You have to make sure that you have your product there. If it's Gigi, right? If you're selling phones, like most people sell phones, they have their Gigi profile where they're selling their phone, right? If you're selling cars, most people have their cars on Auto Trade or Auto Check, or when it was Checky and all that, or even Gigi again, right? But let's say you're selling vegetables. Like I said again, create a broadcast group of all the people you know. Send it. WhatsApp is the easiest way to make money.
To market, yeah.
Online, yeah. Because it's free. Well, internet, literally, it costs you almost nothing. But if you can package your product in a good way, and you can build a customer base that doesn't have to come to you physically, but that buys from you to be delivered because of their convenience, the convenience that they're all looking for, then you have an opportunity to make money, right? So it's about studying your customer. How are they using the internet? Which platforms are they using? If someone is mostly on Instagram, why are you promoting to them on Facebook? If you have someone on TikTok, learn TikTok. You know, I was with my wife and Martha Karua was telling people about, getting on TikTok.
Right.
And it was just a funny thing, right? And I was like, whoop, she got it right. Why? Because most of the audiences today, almost everyone, even if you don't post on TikTok, you go there.
Kind of there.
You're there to watch.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm is designed in a way for your interest, not your followers, not the people you follow. Facebook, you see who you followed.
Right.
Instagram, you see who you followed and related to the trends that you follow. Twitter also, you only hear from the people that you follow.
And you can curate it.
But TikTok gives you what you're interested in, right? So now think about that from the customer's perspective. So if you find the customer who's interested in your product, and TikTok shows them what they're interested in, so why is your product not on TikTok? Right? That's why I like those guys who do painting or ceilings. They're showing these small videos of them doing their work and showing the final part in very small 1-minute format. Then they put it on TikTok. But when you put it on TikTok, don't just wait for the algorithm to then show it to your people. Take that video, go put it on your WhatsApp status. Take that video, put it on your Facebook status. Because people now, when they're bored, just go on WhatsApp status and just keep watching.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy. Sometimes I post on WhatsApp, like when I wake up, like at 4:30, 5, and I see people.
Exactly, right? Because at that time, there are people who are not sleeping.
Right.
And maybe they're insomniac, So you have to take advantage of people's new habits, how they use technology, and then you slip yourself in there, right? And make sure that your product, your brand, your experience, your story is in front of them enough times. And I've seen this myself. There was this rule, the rule of 7 that I studied a while ago that says a customer will buy from you or trust you when they've seen you 7 different times, right? They've seen you in 7 different places, they'll trust you. But from my experience, when you're following up with a customer, you have to at least reach out to them 5 times, right? Out of the 7. 5 times that you're reaching out to them. So if you send someone a post once and they don't respond, why do you stop there? Send another one. 2, 4, 5 days later, send another one. Not the same, a different one, and personalize it even, right? I remember once I launched this online program, and I got like a database of maybe 200, 300 people. Then I took those numbers on the form, I brought them to WhatsApp. Then I called all of them individually. And those I couldn't reach, I sent a voice note, individual voice note with their names. Immediately you get some sales there. And it gets you started, because once you get the first customers, you study them. Okay, what do they have in common? What do they like? What worked? What strategy did I use that they responded to? Let me try it with someone else. And as you keep trial and error, you find something that works. You boost that, so that it can go and reach more people. Because online, the good thing is, if someone trusts you once, they're going to buy from you again. You get it, right?
Yeah.
So you are what the online says you are. You are what Google says you are. So if I Google you today, whatever I find there is what I believe. And some people have hacked this, right?
For me, don't believe all of it. If you Google me, don't believe everything.
But you see, that's the thing, right? You have no choice. You have no control over that, because at the end of the day, that's why you have to be deliberate too, right? In creating consistent content with what you believe, so that those people who now come... I remember there's a video I did where I was giving away courses. Imagine, I was giving away courses. I read this article that said that this percentage of Kenyan youth had given up on looking for jobs, and I gave away a course I had designed that people were paying $500 for. I gave it away for free, and I made it. I'm sure you even saw the video I shared, right?
Yeah.
I gave it away for free, But you know how mannerisms, when someone is talking, you can do things like this because you know how your mind, when you're aligning your thoughts, your hands speak with your thoughts. So many people who are speakers, you talk, you do this. But at the same time, the Illuminati and all these people also have all these signs and, So someone went and told me, you're an Illuminati because you do this. You understand? And I thought for a moment, I was so confused. I was like, so it means like, even whenever you post something online, there's always going to be that radical individual, right, who has watched so many conspiracy theory movies and things, who is going to look at what you're doing and try to now tie it to them, and then they're going to speak out. So if you take all these negative comments that people have about your product, about your business, about you, you're never going to post online. So maybe you should tell us, right, how you manage, so that, because it's true, because some entrepreneurs, maybe that's the thing that they struggle with, right? They're afraid of posting online because they're afraid of that criticism and those bad comments that will come, while those people are there. Like, they're not going to go away.
Not going to go away.
Yeah. So how do you deal with it?
Well, Amadou turned interviewee. Well, it's, I guess over time, it's not easy because, first of all, you have the instinct to fight back, and the first thing you'd always do is you always get the negative comment. You always remember the negative comments. People could praise you 100 times, but there's that one person who will tell you something negative and remember it. So first is to kind of train your mind to think that that person is coming from a different place.
Yes.
Sometimes I always think, okay, the economy is crazy, the economy is tough. People think my job is to come to work and laugh. So if they see me posting that I'm laughing, they don't understand the work that goes on in the background. So then they're watching TV, the final thing. So they are stressors, there are things that are going on, and sometimes they're just bad people.
Yes.
So you just learn that they're different people, ignore them, and please, let me say, don't say I'm Illuminati, but please, use your block button. And these days, Instagram and Facebook has something that says, block them and any other profile they may create.
Amen.
Drop. Block. Or some people I block, some people who are so mean to me, I let them have a front seat at my success.
I like that one.
So anyway, as you wrap up, tell people how they can find you if they want to get training, coaching from you, and also your products and all this stuff.
So I'm on Facebook primarily. Like I've learned, be focused on one platform, gather all your information there. Chico Inspires, CHICO Inspires, INSPIRES. And you reach out, I share all my content there. I have daily worship for entrepreneurs where we pray and, just encourage people to keep building their businesses God's way. And I have new programs coming up. We're securing one, partnership with some financial institutions to help entrepreneurs, be able to build wealth. So, Facebook is the main platform where I share most of my content. And then the YouTube channel is the same, Amadou Chico Sissoko. There's not two me. There's only one me, which is intentional, right? To be able to stand out there. So, reach out, ask your questions. I'm always happy to answer. And then those who are looking for training and coaching also, we're always open to help.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing with us this nuggets. Listen, this is going to be available a little bit later on YouTube, so make sure you check it out if you haven't, if you want some tips. And also on our Citizen TV digital platforms, you can find snippets of the interview there as well. But most importantly, go and check it out on YouTube. Take some notes. Reach out to Chico on Chico Inspires on Facebook and Amadou Chico on YouTube. And learn and grow and move forward. Because like you said, yes, we don't know who's going to be president after, but we are hoping the person who will be is going to continue with certain economic models that will benefit us. So get into business the right way. Don't be afraid to take the step. And it's also okay, kama wewe ni mtu wa career tu wa 8 to 5, pia ni sawa. But if you want to try, if you want to take that leap of faith, you can go ahead and reach out to him. So, all right, except if you're an Arsenal fan. I'm kidding. Successful people look like you, and God loves you, and that will never change. Peace and love. Let's do this again tomorrow.